get out of here, I want to hear y'all perspectives on one last thing before we get out of here. We're gonna start with you, Undisclosed, then we're gonna go to Blackmail, and then we're gonna go to Supervillain. I want to hear what you guys' perspectives are on childless men dating women with children. Would you advise a childless man to date a woman that has children? Why or why not? And before you start, Undisclosed, um, I'm not gonna even say like what my personal opinion is, but um, not because a woman has children means that she's an airhead, means that she's a bird brain. And there are a lot of women that have kids that are very fine. If you look at them, you wouldn't be able to, you wouldn't have no idea that they have a kid or two. But I just want to hear what y'all thoughts are on that. Would you advise a childless man to date a childless woman and be the father that stepped up, or why not? Starting with you, Undisclosed.
Okay. I'll say no. Do you want me to elaborate?
Yep, elaborate, please.
Okay. I'll make it fast though. I'll say no.
No, you don't gotta make it fast, brother. Take your time.
Okay. And I like to let everybody get their piece in. But yeah, I would technically say no, due to the fact that men. This is actually in men's nature. For me, talking to a lot of us, we would rather start our own, family, our own lineage, from scratch. And now, having an already made family, it's okay. I'm not going against it or saying it's bad because majority of women nowadays, they already have kids. So it's going to be kind of hard for a man that doesn't have kids to not find somebody who's already have like a family, like kids of our own. It's rare. It's rare. It can happen, but it's rare. But I wouldn't advise it. Basically, I look at it like you're taking on somebody else's responsibility. Now, if you're not able to have kids, to the fellas that aren't able to, which is unfortunate, and hopefully they can, do something about that to where these guys can. But if not, some of those guys, they would, it'd be a kind of like a win-win scenario. I'm not able to have kids. So, hey, she already has a already made family. So I can just put myself into the equation. But if I was to actually speak and tell guys, like I would say no. If you can start your own family, that's a blessing. But if not, it's still a blessing to get with somebody that has kids. But if you can start your own family, it's a beautiful thing. And I'll leave it with that. So no shade to the women out there that have kids. It's just me giving my point, and I'll land.
One more thing, Undisclosed, and I'm gonna have Blackmail and Supervillain speak on this as well. Do you think that there are and just answer this honestly, it's your opinion, no right or wrong answer. Do you think there are single mothers that are predators in the sense that they prey on childless men? And I asked that question, and I'll just speak briefly on this. I asked that question because on this app and just in general, you hear a lot of women say, if you don't want to be a stepdad and this, that, and the third, then you shouldn't even be entertaining dealing with a woman that has kids. As someone that is childless myself, as someone that is accomplished, successful, that's handsome himself, I have relationships with women that have children. I'm not even gonna sit here and try to make it seem like any of them like are trying to make or are trying to or have tried to make me like be a stepfather to their kids, because that's not the case. But my whole thing is that like I've had conversations and I've asked them questions like when it comes to dating, and from what I've been able to conclude, a lot of women that have children don't even want to date like single fathers. Some of them have told me that they don't want to do the blended family thing. Um, and like some of them, it's like you want a man to like come into your life and assume that role of being a father to your child or your children, but you don't want to come in, but you don't want to like assume the role of being like a stepmother to their child, to his child or his children. And I just think that's kind of selfish and kind of weird. So the point I'm trying to make is I know definitively that there are a lot of women out here that are single mothers that have no interest in dating men that have kids, despite the fact that they have kids. So what? So my question is, do you think that there are a lot of single mothers that actually prey on childless men?
Yeah, I wouldn't say a lot, but there are, quite a bit out there that are looking for that. They're looking for that specific guy. They're looking for that guy that doesn't have any kids. Because if you have five kids already in the equation, then you bring in your two kids in that equation. That's a lot. That's a lot. You know what I'm saying? And she's probably already trying to get rid of them five that she already got out of the house. She's trying to get them things out of the house, and then you bring in two more. You know what I'm saying? Which still, again, you're correct. It's selfish, super selfish. I mean, at the end of the day, that looks like you just want to have, your cake and eat it too. So you already sat here and you procreated and got five of them things, and then you're mad because I'm bringing, three of mine, or whatever the case is. I'm just exaggerating with the numbers, but yeah. So there are some women that's out here just looking specifically for men that don't have children, just because they know that, hey, he can support my 10 babies and me, and he ain't got no kids, which is perfect. And sometimes I'll give you this last bit, and I'm gonna land with this. Sometimes they're at the point where they're done, so they wouldn't even allow you to even get them pregnant. Like you might want to have a kid, but you know what I'm saying. You might want to get her pregnant, and that's your one and done or whatever the case is. But she's at the point where she's like, nope, I don't even want that. So you better be happy with my five babies, and I'll end with that.
No, 100%. And that's another thing undisclosed that I've asked because I've been like, well, you already have two kids. Like, are you interested in having like, more kids? And it's always like, maybe
Yeah.
if I get married, but it's really given the undertone of like, no, I'm not. But I want a guy to come in and help me, raise mine and take care of mine. And like you said, undisclosed, bruh, like they've already been being a mom. They don't want to like continue having to be a mom to like somebody else's kids, especially if they're younger. So no, 100%. But I appreciate you being here today, OG. It's been a long time, man. Like I said, thank you for being here today, man. Thank you for giving me some damn content. You know, these discussions are going to be on YouTube, sometime this week. So I appreciate you. You have a good evening. All right, OG.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Peace.
Blackmail. Talk to me, OG. What's your thoughts on, childless men? Would you advise a childless man to date a woman that already has children? And also want to hear your thoughts on if you think there are single mothers that prey on childless men.
So I'm gonna start with the second one, right? Because what y'all was trying to put out there, right, is a statement that somebody said. I don't remember where it came from, but what it says is these women out here looking for help, not looking for love. That's what a lot of these women doing with kids, multiple baby daddies. They're looking for help, right? So they're trying to do that. I agree. There's a certain amount. I don't know if it's most or whatever. I'm not gonna say most, but there's a lot of women doing that to where you know inflation. We know how high shit is right now. And the last figure I saw was that to raise a child from 0 to 18 is like $300,000. So yeah, they're looking for help, and the best person with the biggest bag that they could get, they're gonna get it. And the issue that I have is what brother just said, right? If you can't get no children out of them, because every time I heard a woman say that she had multiple kids and asked about, oh, would you take a man with kids? It was like, nah. Or if a man could get some more kids out of you, they like, nah, nah, I'm finished. That is selfish. So yeah, that's crazy. But young men, I would say young men in the building stage, stay away from women with kids, because you don't want to wind up, taking care of those children, and you definitely don't want to add another one to it, because you'll end up, if you're a decent dude, right, you'll end up taking care of all of them. If you have a child with this woman, you'll end up just falling into place. So I would say stay away from that. Older men, I would say, depends on the woman, depends on the situation, right? But as a whole, I would say it's a bad idea, because financially, if you're building yourself, if you're trying to do things, I would say stay away from that situation. If you didn't create it, stay away. It's mostly a negative, and you put yourself at great risk to be manipulated and everything else.
OG, you brought up a point. Let's get Taik. Let's get Taik. You just brought up a point, OG, and I want to go back and forth with you on that for a second. I'm 27, OG, so like especially someone your age giving someone my age that advice. I think someone my age should heed that advice. But I've always been of the proponent, OG, that like as a man, if you like when you start getting into your early mid 30s, most women are going to have like at least one kid, a kid or two. So I personally think it's kind of irrational for men that are like in their early mid 30s, even if you are childless. Yeah, okay, if you can get a woman that doesn't have a kid, cool, that's probably ideal. But I mean, I just think at that age, I don't think, like, you shouldn't be surprised if you're coming across women that have kids. So what's your thoughts on that?
So at your age, 27, like if you're trying to date older, I agree. But in your age range, women are not having as many kids as they.
Right. I'm talking about the men that are in their like early mid 30s, talking about
Okay.
they not necessarily trying to date women that got kids. Like that's why I say, like, okay, if he's dating a younger woman, there's a chance she might not have kids. But most women in they mid to like early to mid 30s, they probably gonna have at least one kid.
No, yeah, and that I agree with that. Also, there's another aspect too, depending on what you want out the situation, because depending on what you want, like I said, depending on the woman. So if you want kids, I would say, yeah, you might not want to, because like I said, these women, they might tell you, oh, they're gonna have a kid, right? But I don't believe
They
when it comes.
lie.
They lie a lot. I mean, come on now. Men lie too, but they lie a lot, right? So you might think you're gonna get in there and shoot up the club and have a kid, and the
No,
whole while
you're
she's
not.
fixed. She's
Right.
fixed, right?
Whole time tubes tied.
Yeah, whole time Tuesday. They lie a lot. Because and to be honest, I mean, I'm not if I had that type of power, right? Because they do have power over sex. Let's just be real, right?
Right.
If I had that type of power, I would misuse it too. So I'm not even faulting them. I'm not faulting them for that, right? Is what they have to do sometimes. It's what they feel they have to do, and it's the easiest thing to do. So I'm not even faulting them for that, but I do acknowledge that that happens a lot. Yeah, that's why we have the whole thing about the 40% of men that get tested they're not the father, right? Because they have power, they have control over that whole aspect of the relationship, children, everything. So like I said, I would say kind of stay away from, or if you do, like I've been in relationships where with women with children, right, where it wasn't like a whole a title thing, but we enjoyed each other's company, right? And it was understood this: once your children get grown, we can, we could talk about further, but yeah, I'm not willing to take that on. And it depends on the woman. I've been in a situation where you're like, all right, I understand, because it is a big burden. I was like, yeah, it's a burden. But if she needed help, I mean, I'm not that type of dude. If she needed help, I would see her because at that point she's my friend. So I would interact with her as a friend. Okay, she need help with this, that, the other. Talk to if she had a boy, talk to that boy about whatever life, whatever. Be a role model, so to speak. But like we always see things as black people as black and white, right? I see stuff as 3 and 4 dimensional, right? Everything is just not cut and dry. So we can exist in different places. We just a lot of times due to like the way elder people used to think and go about things, we still go by that whole old antiquated ideology. But this is 2024. All kind of shit happened, right? They eating ass now. Come on now. I mean, all kind of shit happening. It's 2024. So we have to get out that old mindset and be like, okay, this might not fit the idea of what I want it to be, but this is a good person. I appreciate a woman that is a genuinely good person. And yeah, we can go out, we can have fun, we can communicate with each other, and that'll be it. And if we do, we grown, but yeah, I don't try serious relationships. It's if I would say the probability of getting used in that situation, I would say is great because they have a need. They need to take care of their children, right? They need, and it's they're here. So just get out the way and let somebody that's going to do it. But I would say don't take on that.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you, OG. Great talking to you again, man. Y'all don't expect to be seeing me on here, man.
Hey,
I
man.
just randomly came on here today, but I appreciate you.
Hey, I saw
Always
you on. I said,
love.
"What the fuck?" I said, "I ain't
I know.
seen the Noble on this bitch in a while." I said, "I gotta get up here. I gotta come on."
I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, have a good one.
All right, peace.
Supervillain, close out the show for us, sir. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining the team, Taik. You should have been a member though, Taik. I don't know why you just now joining. Supervillain, talk to me, man. What are your thoughts on childless men dating women that have children? And do you think that there are single moms that kind of prey on childless men?
I got you. I got two other things too, but I'm gonna address them afterwards. But it's just
Okay.
between you and me. But anyways,
Okay.
so addressing the question, I'm gonna speak for the majority. I know the brothers before me spoke to certain situations. I'm gonna just speak for the majority, just to kind of cut it short. That's a bad deal. Just straight up, you taking care of somebody else's responsibility with potentially for a lifetime is just a bad deal. You don't. That's not your blood. You don't really get any. Your legacy is gone. Like any man that's family oriented, any man. Period. And I'm gonna say, you care about your legacy, your name, your blood. Like that's your natural DNA instinct to look out for yours, genetically yours. So you taking care of a son or a daughter that's not yours, yeah, they need love. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going down talk a kid that didn't ask to be here. Of course, it's not their fault, right? But at the same time, you're saying I'm going to insert, or somebody would be putting themselves in a situation where say, I'm working, spending time or my life or sacrificing my resources to feed somebody else's child when they could be resources to feed myself or my child or my other children. So imagine funding another child's, another man's college, not before your own, before you even have kids, especially. Imagine just funneling things through you, through your hard work, through your dedication, through your sacrifices to somebody else's legacy, and you get nothing out of that. Essentially, maybe a thank you, maybe a thank you card, or maybe a dinner, a happy Father's Day dinner when you really not the father. That's not, to me, that's a bad deal. But again, I will say that they need somebody, maybe, but they need somebody that probably already got the kids on their own side. So maybe it's an exchange where you pouring into somebody else's kids, and then they pouring into yours in some way. The woman's pouring into your kids. That's more fair. But the question is just a single man, so that dynamic doesn't exist. So no, I would stay away with those situations. And you said to a woman that's preying on single men that are able to provide for those children, something like that, right, Noble?
Yeah, I asked, do you think that there are single mothers that prey on childless men?
I'm a, I'm gonna say no, and the reason
Okay.
I'm a barely it's barely a no. It's
Okay.
barely a no. And the reason why I'm gonna say no is I think women are gonna be looking for men that are gonna provide regardless, and I
Mhm.
know women are going to be focused on attention regardless. So they do want a man's attention. They don't want they women do not like competing for attention for sure. Men do not, or women do not like competing for a man's attention. They don't like competing for his time. They don't like competing for his money. So I'm not going to say that they're going to chase after the single man. Though the single man can fulfill those criteria a lot easier than the men that already do have a child. I would say they're going to prioritize a man that can show that he has those resources available to him. When I say an excess of money or time, whatever, I'm just saying they have enough where they're satisfied. So if you're a single dude who can't provide money, attention, whatever that they're looking for, no. But if you are a dude with a kid, this might be me speaking to minority, by the way. So put the bullshit aside. if you are a dude who has a child, but let's say you make really good money, or you have like money set aside, or you can take care of her, or you do have time set aside where, okay, like me, I work from home. Like I literally been on this call with you, like while working from home. So I have extra time if I needed to talk to my girl or whatever. I have more time than maybe the average man just for that alone. Or my attention. I'm a good listener. So stuff like that. That's what they do. That's what they go for. But again, I'm not going to say they're targeting single men in particular. I think they're targeting men that they can get their needs met with in general, wherever that comes from, single or as a childless man or a man with a child.
Okay, so do you think that they prefer that those needs be met with a man that's childless or with a man that does already have children?
I definitely say
Most of
that.
them. What do you think most of them prefer?
Oh yeah, definitely preference wise, one without children, because then there's no issue of competing for your time, attention, and they don't have to deal with another woman being in the picture like the baby mama. That factor's not there at all. The slate's completely clean for them. That's definitely their preference, 100%. I think that's across the board, but I don't know. I don't want to say targeting, if that makes sense. Maybe, hopefully, that's not me being like, I'm not trying to do semantics with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be clear as far as targeting or praying versus a preference.
So a woman that already has, let's just say two kids. We're not going to say one or three. Let's just say two kids. So
Mhm.
she already has two kids. She's already raising these kids. If she takes on a man that already has a child or two, um, like kind of like what Undisclosed was saying, this woman has already been raising her own kids. She's a mother. She knows everything that, goes into being a mother. So now, in addition to having to be a companion to a man again, she's also going to have to take on those motherly duties again for kids that are not biologically hers.
Sure.
So you're telling me that you honestly think that most of these single moms just are on the I'm just trying to get my needs met by a man, whether he has a child or not. You really don't think that most of them like want to have their cake and eat it too?
Of course, that's human. Everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too. But I'm saying again, hopefully, I'm not trying to play semantics. When you say targeting or preying on, I don't think it's like, oh, he's single now. I think women are going to look at what you got regardless. Like there's some baseline things that women's going to look for regardless. Do you have money to take care of her regardless if you have a child or not? Do you have attention? Are you going to give her attention or validation that she needs? As far as women like attention, bro. Like do you have time for a relationship, to be committed to her, to take her on dates, to spend time with her? Do you have that time? Do you have that freedom? Regardless, I'm not. I'm going to stand by they have a preference for it, but I don't want to put it out like as far as like they're preying on a single dude. Regardless, I guess
Okay,
I hope that makes sense.
we don't have to use the pray word, but I can just tell you as someone that really does have relationships with women that have children, and
Mhm.
I love these women. I don't have anything against a woman being mothers. Being a mother is a great thing, but I can just tell you definitively that majority of them have told me that they have a preference of dating a man that is childless. And
Sure.
when I've asked them the reasons why, like I said, they don't want to do the blended family thing. And some of them, they don't say it directly, but they indirectly just basically say like they don't have interest in being a mom to children that are not their own biological children. And I just think, well, you want a man to come in and be a dad and take on those responsibilities, especially financially, to children that are not biologically his. I think that's kind of selfish to, not want to do the same. And if majority of them do not want to do the same, then you kind of are, too noble, preying on childless men. But that's just my opinion.
So wait, real quick. When you said they don't want to do blended family, are you saying like they want a man to come in, take care of their kids, and they don't want to give him kids as well?
No, they don't. They have no interest in taking on blended families. Is Noble has kids and she has kids, and we're gonna put our families together. That's what blended family is. So
Okay,
they
because I
don't
was
want to. They don't want to take. They don't want to. Again, they don't want to take on the responsibility of being a mother to children that are not biologically theirs.
yeah, because the reason I was asking is I was thinking like of the single man who would put himself in that position. Because I'm just like, are they saying they also don't want to give the single man children either? Because like, is that not still a blended family if she has kids outside of that family? Isn't that still blended if she gives him like kids
It's
and
not. Oh well. I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's blended.
okay.
My understanding of blending is they already have their own kids and you bringing them together.
Okay, I thought any kids made outside of this relationship, then we're blended a family at that point. But maybe that's yeah.
I know you wanted to talk to me about two more things. I want to give Miss Mo Betats an opportunity to speak. So you can just go on mute for me, please, brother.
Sure.
Ma'am, I'm going to play this audio for you, and then I'll have you and then I'll give you the opportunity to give what your thoughts are.